In this episode of Crime in the City, the attack on an NYU student is caught on camera, and suspected CEO killer Luigi Mangione is back in court. Plus,
they have no respect. They were all messed up.
A car meetup turns into chaos. Right now, Fox 5's Crime in the City. For our first story this week, we begin on Broadway, where an attack on an NYU student was caught on camera. James Rizzo, the 45-year-old suspect in this case, is no stranger to the law.
The man accused of assaulting an NYU student pleading not guilty in the attack.
But now we're learning that that 20-year-old may not have been his first victim. Jessica Formosa, what do you know?
Kurt and Rosanna, that is right. The suspect, James Rizzo, has a long rap sheet. Police say he has 16 prior arrests. Late last night, he faced a judge. We've learned the suspect was released from state prison in September, out on parole after serving 2 years on a conviction for persistent sexual abuse. Police say he is a serial offender. His victims, mainly women. The 45-year-old was arrested Tuesday for an assault on an NYU student. The attack was caught on camera and has since gone viral. According to the NYPD, Rizzo came up behind his victim on Monday morning in Greenwich Village, slapped her head and her behind, pulled her hair before throwing her to the ground and running off. The 20-year-old victim, Emilia Lewis, detailing the attack on social media. Rizzo was charged with persistent sexual abuse, forcible touching, and assault in that case. Now, but we have learned days prior to his latest attack, the suspect may have assaulted another woman, 68-year-old Diana Barzell. Police say it happened on Thanksgiving Day. The victim was walking along Fifth Avenue with her sister-in-law on her way back from the Thanksgiving Day parade when police say she was assaulted by Rizzo, leaving her with a gash on her forehead that forced her to get at least 6 stitches. On Tuesday, when he was picked up by police, authorities say Rizzo had burglarized a building near Washington Square Park. You're about to hear from Diane detailing her attack. She says the suspect came out of nowhere, got in her face, and started yelling.
Once I saw his face, I realized things were not normal, so I looked away to try to disengage, hoping he would just go away. And after about 5 or 6 seconds of his continuing speaking, he stepped back and I thought he was leaving. And the next thing I knew, I was slammed into a glass panel there on the sidewalk and slid down. I guess he left.
Very disturbing. Now, Rizzo pleaded not guilty to the charges. He's being held without bail. He's expected to be back in court today for violating his parole, and then again on December 8th on those assault charges.
We now head to the Malba section of Queens, where an apparent late-night car meetup spiraled into chaos, ending with a vehicle erupting in flames and a security guard being assaulted.
People in the Malba neighborhood say this is not the first time this has happened, and now a city councilor is getting involved as well.
Fox 5's Stephanie Bertini is live in Malba with the very latest. Steph.
Yeah, let me show you both something. You can see pieces of a vehicle here and tire marks. That's after a councilwoman tells us that the vehicle of a security guard who works the area went up in flames. And we're learning a homeowner was attacked. His wife also hit in the process, we're told. This is according to multiple reports and witness accounts. Drag racing at 141 Street and 11th Ave here in the Queens community of Malba turned into violence. The NYPD confirms a call in regards to drag racing turned into a crime in progress call over the weekend. This video posted to social media by Councilwoman Vicky Palladino shows a man and his wife approached by a group. She was hit and he was attacked, he told me, after confronting people he describes as teens with their faces covered and asking them, he says, to get off his property. We're told groups of people come to the neighborhood to drag race and even post about it on social media. After a confrontation with the described drag racers, the man says he ended up with a fractured shoulder, his nose, ribs, face, and thyroid area also injured, and his wife was hit in the face, we're told. He gave us an interview, but he asked us to cover his face.
I walked outside and told the guy, get the F off my property. And then it just escalated. They have no care in the world. They have no respect. They were all messed up. Everybody's videotaping.
As they were on you, what were you thinking?
I wasn't. I just covered up. I just covered up because I knew what was going to happen. I knew if I didn't cover my face up, it was just going to get worse. So I covered up, and thank God they just stopped at one point.
People in the area say outsiders coming to drag race has been going on for years. Councilwoman Vicky Palladino says speed bumps are needed to help with prevention, but she and many others say what happened this weekend, overnight Saturday into Sunday, was the worst of this kind of incident. Palladino says a police investigation is now ongoing in relation to the incident.
They were animals. They got out of the car. This was a gang mentality. You cannot control a gang mentality. They came here on a mission and they succeeded.
The tire marks related to vehicles doing donuts. And back out here live, we can tell you that we found at least 3 other areas in the neighborhood with patterns like those tire marks. And we're also told that right now, the NYPD is planning on increasing police patrols in the neighborhood.
Down in Lower Manhattan, Luigi Mangione, the suspected killer of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson, appeared in court 1 year after the murder. Suspected United Healthcare CEO killer Luigi Mangione back in court for day 3 of his pretrial hearing.
A Good Day's Briella Tomasetti. She is live at Manhattan Criminal Court in Lower Manhattan with more on what we can expect. And Briella, it's been a year. There's been a lot of interest in Mangione, but it's been a year since the Thompson family had their loved one gunned down.
Yeah, Tashani and Dan, good morning. Today marks exactly 1 year since prosecutors say 27-year-old Luigi Mangione ambushed and gunned down United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson in Midtown Manhattan. And today, the 27-year-old is due back in criminal court. It marks the 3rd day of a multi-day hearing that started on Monday and could very well go through next week. Mangione has pleaded not guilty to 9 state counts as well as 4 separate federal charges, which come with the possibility of the death penalty. Before the state trial gets underway, the court must review evidence collection and evaluate Mangione's statements. Earlier this week, Judge Gregory Caro began to hear testimony that will help him decide whether police had a legal right to obtain physical evidence, including a notebook and the gun found in Mangione's backpack. The defense wants that evidence thrown out since police in Pennsylvania did not have a search warrant and questioned Mangione for about 17 minutes before he was read his Miranda rights and taken into custody at a local McDonald's. This week's hearing applies only to the state case, but it is giving the public a preview of some testimony, video, 911 calls, and other records relevant to both cases. It's not immediately clear what witnesses or evidence will be expected today, but prosecutors may call as many as 28 witnesses altogether. They've maintained that police were justified in searching Mangione's backpack to ensure there was nothing dangerous inside, and said his statements to officers were voluntary and made before he was placed under arrest. Mangione's defense team already scored a pretty big win back in September when they had state terrorism charges thrown out. They say that unconstitutional police conduct threatens his right to a fair trial. Now, we could see a possible ruling this week, either today, tomorrow, or next week, which is a lot more likely. That ruling could also come in written form, considering this is such a high-profile case that is under intense public scrutiny.
Up in Times Square, a man was set on fire in the early morning inside the busy subway station.
And we go to breaking news this morning. A man is recovering after being set on fire on the subway in Times Square. Police were called to the 123 subway station at West 42nd Street and 7th Avenue just after 3 o'clock this morning. They found the 55-year-old victim on the platform with burns on his legs. The victim says that it happened on board a subway train. That victim was hospitalized in stable condition. Police are looking for a man suspected in the attack, and an investigation is ongoing.
And staying inside that same subway station, another chaotic incident. 2 men are currently in custody for allegedly firing a gun there.
Breaking news in Midtown. Shots fired inside the Times Square subway station. Police say it happened on the mezzanine of the ACE lines just before 8:30 tonight. No one was hit. 2 men are now in custody for allegedly firing that gun.
And finally, we leave the city for Long Island, where prosecutors say a porch pirate scheme systematically stole electronics from residents using insider FedEx tracking data.
A bust just in time for the holiday shopping season. An international theft ring brought down on Long Island. Welcome back. I'm Steve Lacey.
And I'm Natasha Verma. These are not your average porch pirates. Prosecutors say a network of runners were given FedEx tracking information to help them steal boxes moments after they got delivered.
All right, Fox 5's Arthur Chen has a look at the sophisticated crime ring.
That's awful, because I get a lot of deliveries.
The efficiency of these alleged porch pirates seemed uncanny. Over a 2-year investigation, there were times it seemed like they were waiting for the FedEx delivery person to arrive. And just their luck, across more than 30 towns in Suffolk County, they seemed to only be there for cell phones being delivered or other expensive electronics. The coincidence raised eyebrows.
We saw clearly a pattern developing with the cell phone, so we decided to investigate that pattern.
On Monday, the Suffolk County DA's office announced the takedown of a sophisticated porch pirate ring. 14 defendants indicted, the ringleader from the Bronx, where the stolen phones from Suffolk County would allegedly end up, then to be resold on the black market, domestically and internationally.
They had the technological ability to unlock the phones and utilize them either as internet devices or communication devices or both.
While authorities have now charged 14 people as part of this sophisticated ring, they say they are still working on rooting out how it is that the group came by such insider information from FedEx, the tracking information of these electronics. And for that reason, they say more arrests could be on the way. Those we spoke with in Suffolk County are relieved to hear a warning shot being fired at porch pirates.
I'm glad they took them down.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
We're in the suburbs, so you would think it wouldn't happen that much here. I certainly hear about it happening a lot in the city or in places where houses are really close together, and you drop off packages on the porch and somebody comes in and steals it or something of that sort. But I haven't run into a lot of it out here, and like I said, we've been fortunate. Not so fortunate for the alleged porch pirates, that some of the charges they face carry a maximum of 8 to 25 years behind bars.
That's this week's Crime in the City. Subscribe for more at youtube.com/Fox5NY.